Introduction to Chords for Piano Students number 2. This one will have no paper to play with because, just like the scales, we're going to do some sort of systematic process for learning them. And we are going to go through the first 5 keys using the first 5 scales, which are C, G, D, A, and E. And we want to use notes from those scales specifically when we are playing the chords for those scales. First, let's do the key of C. These are the chords. I'm going to play them once, then I'm going to describe what is happening using words. Okay, so I'm playing the first chord, which is the C major chord, and the C major chord is C, E, and G, and that will always be the starting chord. We will always start on the first note of the scale, and then we will skip notes until we have 3 notes. The next chord is actually an F chord. But instead of picking up our whole hand and moving it up to F to play F, what we are doing is we are taking the path of least resistance. We are moving the top 2 notes that we have, which are E and G, and we are scooting those notes up to find F and A. So that's what this looks like. We replace the we replace the E and the G with F and A. And for this case, I am using fingers that are comfortable for me. I am using 1, 3, and 5 in the right hand for both chords. And I'm using 5, 3, 1, and 5, 2, 1 for the left hand. Okay? So, from C major to F major, we're going to go back to C major. And then to get to the next chord, which is going to be called G7. Nomenclature will be in a different video. We're just going to call it G7 for now. Why it's called that does not really matter right now. We're going to move the C, which is the bottom note in each hand, down to B. And we are going to move the E, which is the middle note in each hand, up to F. And for this case, the F already has a finger on top of it. We don't have to do any moving. We're just scooting the bottom finger down to make this happen. So we will now have B, F, and G. Those will be the notes. So here's what that motion looks like from the C chord to the G chord. And then back to the C chord. So 3 chords in total. These are officially the 3 primary chords, although we are doing something a little bit different for the G, just to give it a little bit more spice and a little bit more energy to move back to the C. The purpose of that is to make the resolution, the motion back to the C, feel more satisfying, to reinforce that sound for the ears, which is what this is really all about. Although it is also good for our hands, it's really good for our ears to listen to what it sounds like to play in a key. Let's go through those again in C. C, and then the F chord, the top 2 notes move up and we keep the C. And then we go back to the C chord. And then the bottom 2 notes separate. C moves down to B, and E moves up to F. And then back to the C chord. Now, we want to play this same sequence of chords in the first 5 keys, the first 5 scale keys. And in order to make that happen, just like playing the scale, we also have to add black keys to this. In this case, starting with G, the only new note was F sharp. So when we move down, when the bottom note moves down, instead of going to F, it will actually move to F sharp. And unlike playing a scale, we are allowed to put our thumbs and pinkies on a black key for this. That is absolutely okay. So let's go through G. And we're going to scoot the top two notes up to find what is a C chord. And then scoot the top two notes back down to find the G chord. The bottom two notes separate. Make sure that the very bottom note moves to F sharp. And we'll have F sharp, C, and D. And then back to the G chord. Alright, moving right along to the key of D. This one starts off with a black key. We will have the F sharp in the middle. We have D, F sharp, and A. And the second chord, the top two notes scoot up, and we'll have D, G, and B. And then the top two notes scoot back down to find the D chord again. And now the A7 chord, the bottom finger finds C sharp, and then G, and then A. And then we go back to our original D chord. Okay? The next key, the key of A. We'll have A and C sharp and E. Then the top two notes scoot up to find D and F sharp. And then scoot back down to find the original A chord. And then scoot the bottom finger down to find the new sharp, G sharp. And then D, and then E. And then the first chord again, A major. Alright, the last key for today's video will be E. Again, this one has black keys galore. This one has one more black key that we will need. E, G sharp, and B. And then we're going to have the scoot the top two notes up. And we'll have E and A and C sharp. And then back to the first chord, E major. And then the bottom two notes separate, and we'll find D sharp, A, and B. And then the last chord, of course, which is also the first chord. Okay? If you're not sure which black keys you need for the particular set of chords that you are working on, remember, we always want to play notes that are found in the scale. If we are doing the E major scale chords, we want to use the same 4 black keys if we need them. We don't always use all of the black keys that we have, but whatever ones we have to use, you have to make sure they're there. If we're scooting down one note in the scale from E, that's not D. That's D sharp. Now I will play through all 5 of those slowly and smoothly for an example, and you can play along with me, and I will count into each chord, each key, but I will play them in held tones and clearly move my hands so that you can see and play along. Here we go with key of C. Ready, go. And now the key of G. Ready, go. now the key of D. Ready, go. And now the key of A. Ready, go. And now the key of E. Ready, go. Okay, I hope you got something out of this. I hope you are using this to help develop your ears to hear what it sounds like to play in a key, because all music that beginners are playing at least, is in a key, some key. Not all music is actually in a key. Sometimes we don't have a key, and that music doesn't sound like it's in a key. Say key again. I said that too many times. Music is in a key. Have a nice day, guys.